So I'm on my Warlock and I'm going to be testing these out a bit. So obviously we can do our Soul Burn and Seed of Corruption for a bit of AoE, and I've spec'd into Harvest Life for again that extra AoE, and using our Soul Burn with our Seed of Corruption, it puts actually our corruption dot on all of them. Now we've had a couple of changes to our soul shards, to be honest. So we have oh, I actually didn't realise that. It looks as if Seed of Corruption has a cooldown. Or maybe that was just a lockout, I'm not too sure about that. But as we can see, now our soul shards have changed a bit. We actually can see our soul shards above our character. You can see these 3 little crystals. Those are actually our soul shards now. So it's quite interesting to see how they've changed that. So obviously now, to be honest, we just pretty much, I can see the main way we're going to be getting our soul shards is from our corruption. Now it has a 10% chance when it ticks to give us a soul shard. We can only gain up to 5 soul shards every minute though, and also bear in mind that when we are channeling our Malefic Grasp or our Drained Soul, which will be when the target is below 20% health, our dots tick 100% faster, so we will be getting an awful lot of dot ticks coming in, which will be, you know, pretty interesting to see, because obviously at the moment Warlock's damage, Affliction's damage isn't exactly lacking, so if they're ticking 100% faster, then it'd be nice to see how that works out. So possibly that's a way of sort of, maybe they brought the damage down. Now as you can see, this has got a very wide angle on the AoE. It does seem to cause an awful lot of threat, so we probably do have to be pretty careful about when we're using that. Now as you can see, look, it hits as many targets as it wants to, so it's pretty insane the amount of damage that can be doing. So our boss has just popped up, so let's get cooldowns rolling and let's get some dots and stuff going on this boss. So obviously you can see here we've just gained a soul shard, so as soon as our haunt drops off we'll refresh that, and again we are actually gaining quite a few of them, as you can probably see. So again, as soon as our haunt drops off, and I'm going to be casting, you know, quite a few of these foul flames just to refresh duration of both our unstable affliction and corruption, because I personally think it's, you know, pretty worth it to be doing that. And obviously we can life tap, and then we can instantly regain 27k health just by doing a mortal coil. So to be honest, I think that's definitely worth doing, because to be honest, we don't need to be life tapping too much anyway, so you know, we shouldn't be too bad just throwing in like a bit of, you know, a couple of life taps. Shouldn't be recasting haunt yet because it hasn't dropped off. I should be recasting that. So locks are pretty unchanged. Oopsie. There's a couple of bits that, you know, they're probably going to be changing. As you can see, our Soulfire does a lot of damage, although you probably shouldn't really be using it, to be honest, unless you do find yourself regaining too many soul shards. So let's get a couple of life taps going and a mortal coil, which obviously gets us up quite a lot of health. Let's move out the way of that, and when targets are below 20% health we just use our Drained Soul, which as you can see, again it does exactly the same as Malefic Grasp, however it just simply adds extra damage. That's a nicer spot, and then we can be standing over here, so you know, for the carrot breath we can instantly teleport right to the other side. So let's get some cooldowns rolling. Now as you can see, we just got another proc on a soul shard. So because it's the beginning of the fight, I'm actually going to be using a couple of soul shards up straight away, just so I don't end up with too many. So let's do this, which obviously increases the our dots by quite a lot. Let's use our demonic circle teleport to teleport behind the boss. Now obviously we've got absolutely tons of ads coming in, so let's get see the corruption going. Whoops. Now it doesn't matter too much that I got hit by that, I guess, simply because we have a ridiculous amount of self-healing at the moment. Now we do need to move away from the ones with the bombs, so obviously let's get moving away from that. Now we are actually out of mana, as you can see, so let's get a couple of life taps going, followed by a mortal coil. Now I'm going to try not to get my health too low by doing this, but obviously, you know, sometimes our health can dip a bit lower now. So let's get some major, massive, super overpowered drain life going. Now I think he's below 20% health, so I am now going to start channeling our drain soul, which should do quite a lot of extra damage. Oops. God, people just took a lot of damage there. So I'm going to get another life tap going, followed by one of those. And the boss is dead, lovely. Now we have a buff that gives us 5% spell power, just straight up 5%. That's our new Dark Intent. So it's a bit different from the old one. So let's get some multi-dots going around. Now obviously this silences us, so we've got to get out of that, even though it seems to be absolutely everywhere. Really annoying, that carbonation spell is. No, I'm not entirely sure what this tank is doing, but you know. Then obviously we switch to Drain Soul when the target gets really low. And get a couple of life taps going, because you know we're going to be regaining health as we run. Now we do actually have a spell called Burning Rush that drains 4% of our maximum health per second, but increases our speed by 50%. So very interesting to see how that works out. You know, it's kind of pretty risky spell to use, to be honest, because obviously it could go two ways. We could get the way in the fact that, you know, we managed to get out of what we need to in time, or it could completely reverse itself on us, and you know, that may just do the extra bit of damage that is gonna kill us while we're trying to get out of something. So I think it's quite a risky spell to use, which is pretty interesting, you know. I've not really been using it much at the moment because I've not really seen much of a need, but definitely in the new encounters I've noticed that pretty much all the classes are getting items that can increase their speed. So, you know, maybe it's something that we're just going to need kind of as a standard. So we are up to the last boss, so hopefully here we'll be able to get some, you know, nice damage going out. So let's just see how we do, to be honest. So let's pop our cooldowns straight off so they're ready again later. Let's get a Terror Guard going out. And lovely, we have a Bloodlust right up. So as you can see, we're gaining quite a lot of soul shards here, so I'm not going to refresh my horn until it's actually, you know, done again. So let's get a self heal going. And pop out a couple of those to refresh our dots. Now obviously I've not actually researched into this myself yet, but I think it's probably worth using Fell Flame to refresh our dots, just because, well, it just seems worth it, to be honest. You know, it gives you that bit of extra damage that you probably need, and it means you have to get them up, you know, without the cast times and stuff. You know, you can just spam that one button and it kind of gets them up. So in a minute we should be able to life tap a couple of times again and get a mortal coil going. There we go, lovely. And our dots are getting a bit lower, so let's get a couple more fell flames going out. And let's get one of our massive hitting, lovely looking soulfires going out. I don't know why I'm doing that, probably just doing it because I like the look of it, to be honest. Now I should really be killing these, but to be honest all these other people are kind of killing those off, so we're doing alright at the moment. So let's make sure we got all of our dots on again. We've got our carbonation going up. Now here could be a good time to use our 50% speed increase, you know, just to get up there and away. So let's use our self heal again. Now obviously if we really need that self healing we can always channel our harvest life, or we could create a hellstone or something, but I've actually been too lazy to actually make any hellstones, so that's kind of my bad. Now obviously one of our dots has just dropped off, so let's reapply that, and it seems it kind of just, yeah. So obviously the longer we leave in agony on someone, the more it's going to be ticking for. So that's pretty interesting, to be honest, how you can actually see how much it's going to be ticking for now, instead of Blizzard just saying, oh, it's going to tick for more the longer it stays on someone. Now you can actually see how long you got to keep it on someone before it's actually ticking a worthwhile amount more. So I quite like the idea of that, I guess. It's just kind of a quality of life improvement, I guess, if anything. But, you know, it all helps. Now as you can see we are kind of lacking soul shards, so if anything soul shards more of a cooldown than anything. Okay, so to be honest that's pretty much all I've got to say about Affliction Warlocks. As with all of the Warlock classes, their spells are recognisable, but that's about it, to be honest. You know, we've got so many different things. These actually do seem pretty hard to play. You know, we've got to keep all of our dots up, make sure we're using the right Malphaic Grasp or Drain Soul. We've got to be keeping an eye on our mana, but also keeping an eye on our health, because obviously we're spending an awful lot of mana and then we've got to spend a lot of health to get that back up. We've got some risky spells such as Burning Rush, you know, which we can use to get away from things, but also burns down our health, so whether or not it's worth it or not, we'll have to keep a lookout for that. Obviously, you know, we've got our Soul Link if you spec into it, so our spec is going to be pretty interesting. You know, we could go into Sacrificial Pet or something like that, so you know we can sacrifice our pet when we go life tap back to full and soul burn for another new instant pet. We have reducing all damage taken by 50%, so you know we could pop that, and then I'm not sure if that actually works, but our health doesn't seem to be going down as much, so we'll have to see if that actually works or not. And that is a pretty interesting animation right there. It seems I'm lagging a bit, so it looks to me, to be honest, if that actually does benefit our life tap. So obviously, you know, if we did lead a lot of mana we could use that. However, it does cost mana itself, so you know we'd have to make sure we're using the right things. So it's going to be really interesting to see how these ends up, because obviously there's a lot more changes coming in. So thanks for watching.